الحمد لله الذي أنعمنا وسقانا وجعلنا من المسلمين. الحمد لله نستعين ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا من يهده له فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. الحمد لله رب العالمين. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Magfirullah. Alhamdulillah. It's been a while. One of the things, is we're in this particular season of the season of the year. I wish that in reality that we could have this so-called spirit every day, and that we could have these type of feelings, of humanitarianism every day, and charity every day, all week, all year. Rather than this particular month of December, and what we call this great celebration, this hafla, this great party of Christmas, the traditional Christmas. Now, this is a celebration that really is at odds with what people talk about. And the fact that we would desire to dismiss the documentation and the reality of that shows how stubborn as a people we are, and how we are willing to go with that which is not correct in order to try our best to facilitate this. I mean, I understand the giving of the gifts, to the children and to each other. But these things right here is something else. I want to read, inshallah, something out of the Bible, and it's very it's very. It is here, and it was written thousands of years before the prophet Isa, Jesus, Yusha, written thousands of years before he was born. And so how does this particular thing have anything to do with Christmas? Just as how does the Easter Bunny have anything to do with Easter? A lot of these things are paganistic, and we continuously do it, and we continuously propagate it, and it's a money market, and we don't care, because this is what our parents did, our grandparents did, and so forth, and the people do it. And I mean, even with believers, even with strong believers, Christians who know better, Muslims or Jews and so forth, the pull of this ambiance of emotion it pulls. And so one has to be very careful. First of all, I ask Allah to forgive me for my sins and my iniquities, my transgressions, my wrongdoings, my wrong sayings, and that He keeps me upon the Sirat al-Mustaqim, and that He assists me, inshallah, being a better person. I ask Him to send His salams upon all of the wali, the anbiya, the mursalin, all of the prophets, all of the messengers, all of the righteous brothers, all of the imams around the state, all of the Muslims, and I wish them good and have nothing negative to say about anyone. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. I say, Hubi Allah, you love for Allah as long as the person is doing what Allah says, and Buktu Allah, that you hate the person when they stop doing what the Creator says. This is an intellectual thing, and it's not necessarily an emotional thing, even though love in itself is an emotion. And we have to always be aware that human beings are human beings, and we have to understand the histories and all of these things. But inshallah, I digress, and I want to read this particular passage, and this comes out of the book of Jeremiah, which is what is called the Old Testament, or the Old Covenant, and not the New Covenant, Aqdul Qadr, and not the Ahdil Jadid. And it says, "Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen." Now the heathen are the Goya, the Gentiles, the people that were not believed in God, the people who believed in Ashtaroth, who believed in Ishtar, who believed in the many different deities, Baalim, during that particular period of time. Even those who followed Nimrod, who was against the Tawheed, the belief in the one God of Abraham, of Moses, of Jacob, of Joshua, and so forth and so on. And it says, thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen. Don't learn this. And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. They detest, a person telling you what's right. They're dismayed at what the Creator of the Most High said. For the customs of the people are vain. The customs, the adat, the traditions, the hadith, the traditions, the sunnah. All of these things, it says they are vain. And it's reported that the Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam, or Solomon, said, vanity, vanity, all is vanity. And what is vanity? Vanity, a lot of times, for show, is not nothing. It's like Allah said, kana kushubun musa. It's a hollow tree, like a hollow tree. Okay, this on the outside looks all good, but in reality, it doesn't have any substance. So it says, for the custom of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. All right, first of all, they cut a tree. They deck it with silver. The 4th verse says of chapter 10 of the book of Jeremiah. Chapter 10, Jeremiah, verse 4 says that they deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. Listen. They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born, because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil. Neither also is it in them to do good. In other words, they're harmless. For as there is none like unto thee, O Lord, thou art great, and thy name is great in might. Who would not fear thee, O King of nations? For to thee doeth it appearance. For as much as among all the wise men of the nations, in all of their kingdoms, there is none like unto thee. And definitely, Lam yakun lahu kufuwan ahad, the law says in the Quran, exactly that verse, there is none like unto thee. Kufuwan, similar to thee. Kufuwan. So, one of the craziest things, back then, we talk about King James, we talk about different symbolisms and things of that nature. If you take the end of Santa and you put it at the END, the end of the word changes from Santa to Satan. Really. If you take the end and put it at the end, it changes from Santa to Satan. We deal with a lot of symbolism, and we deal with a lot of hieroglyphics, and we deal with a lot of word play and things of this nature. Then we have to be very cautious. In addition to that, if you drop the L out of clause, what do you have? I'm not going to say it. I'll let you figure it out yourself. But if you take the N and put the N at the end, you put the N at the END, the end of the word, you don't have sound no more. And so, because anything that has us worshiping other than the Most High, a person, as long as it says ila ibadihi mukhlasin, that the shaitan will be able to trick everybody except for the one sincere. Now, sincerity means that the person knows. When a person loves Allah, it said Rabbi Adwa, who was a very pious woman, who was an Islamic saint, she said that she loved Allah, that she didn't worship Allah because she was an opportunist, and she didn't worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because she was a coward. And so the people asked her, what do you mean? And she said, I'm not an opportunist. I don't worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because I want Jannah. I want paradise. I want heaven. I want to have all of these houses in Jannah. And I'm not a coward. I don't worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala out of fear, because I fear hellfire, or because I fear His punishment. I worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala simply because I love Him. Now, in me saying that, loving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't mean that a person is perfect. It means that they are sincere in their love for Allah, that there are no hidden agendas, that there are no ulterior motives. And this very, very is important, man, because at the end of the day, we have to understand the reality that when all of these adda, when all of these customs and all of these things that are religiously based, steeped in paganism and things of this nature, we have to be very, very careful, man, when we choose this. I was somewhere the other day, and I would only say to this person, that katawa, this person such and such, what I'm saying, was telling me Merry Christmas. And, I was surprised, but then I wasn't surprised. But at the same token, I made dua. Because one of the things that I've learned over the years is that when you see a person doing wrong, you first of all, you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive them. And then you ask Allah to protect you from being like them. And then if you see a person doing good, then you ask Allah to bless them. And then you ask Allah to make you better like them, inshallah. And that way it takes away envy. And it also takes away hatred and the feeling of superiority that one is better, So we have to be very, very cautious in understanding this particular aspect and also this particular year. It is very important that we understand, as believers, as human beings, as people who believe in the unity of the Most High. My target market is Muslims, but I'm talking to those Christians who understand that what I'm saying is true as well. Jennings, many of the Jehovah's Witnesses, a lot of them understand this and they know this. But this is, Allah says, He said the majority of them, are wicked. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks the truth regardless to how people feel. And so with that being said, I say to you brothers and to you sisters, man, it's been a minute. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Things are going on in life. And inshallah, I will pick up where I left off and I will be more consistent. Inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make your years good. Ramadan, inshallah, will start sometime around March. Let's make dua that we are successful in our Ramadan, inshallah, that He gives us the strength, the stamina, that He gives us the insight during that particular month, and also that He helps our bodies and our knees, and also to be able to bend and make all of those rakat, inshallah, during that particular time. And to all of the imams again, I send my salams, and to all of humanity, I send my salams, and to the people in the sijin, in the prisons, I send my salams. To the people in the street, have nowhere to go, I send my salams. And I ask, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to be better at what we do, inshallah, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala do not punish us, that He does not send fitness that we cannot deal with, inshallah. We do not create fitness for ourselves that we can't deal with. To those brothers and sisters who are behind the fences, may I send my greetings. Those brothers and sisters in the street, I send you my greetings. I've many brothers and sisters, families, that are doing well, but many brothers and sister families are doing absolutely rough. And the sad thing is that many the mu'min, and many the muslimin, and many the ajnabiya, you know what I'm talking about, ajnabiya, the foreigners, many of them, they don't give a flying, period, because it's not affecting their people. And asabiya is one of the worst things, because it divides. It is firqa. It is a division of the believers, where we have these particular thought patterns. When you go around the world, if you go to France, if you go to Europe, if you go to Mecca, really, if you go to Saudi Arabia, if you go to Yemen, if you go to different places, there are ghettos everywhere, and there are oppressed people everywhere. If you go to China, the Uyghur, there are oppressed people. If you go to India, there are oppressed people. And they're oppressed by the government, and they're oppressed by social policies, and they're oppressed. And you go to France, same scenario. And so I say all of that to say that, In America, there's no difference. And for those people in all those different countries I named, this has been going on for decades. And this country has been going on for hundreds of decades. It's been going on for centuries. You feeling me? So, and as long as that, Brother Malcolm X said that capitalism is a vulturistic society because 2% of that 5%, it lives off of the other 85 of the other 98% of the society, and they get rich and everybody else gets poor. And if you was in a socialistic society, then we would do better. But unfortunately, because of the dynamics and the diversity of this particular country, certain people don't want that to occur because of the fact that those people that have been oppressed would also be benefit from it, and that is the one thing they don't want. Why? And I ask myself, why does a person think that a person of color should never have money? Why is it a thought pattern that a person of color should never live in a good environment? Why is it that as soon as a person of color does have money, that they are suspect that they did something wrong? Why is it that when they live in a better neighborhood, then they become suspicious? The neighbors and everybody else. Why does that exist? First of all, where is there in the law's law and God's law that it says a man, African American, a black man, an Indian man, Hispanic man should not be rich? Please tell me. And where did that concept come from, and how is that concept perpetuated? Ask yourself. Because all of that is haram. Make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Taj'al dua ila Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ma'a qulubikum jamia. Make dua to Allah with all of your heart. Don't jack, don't joke, no cap. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Maghfirullah. I love y'all, brothers and sisters. Make dua for me. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.